All right, I want to talk about section 9.13, unknown dimensions of triangles. Okay, so we're going to kind of do what we did with parallelograms, only this time with triangles, and it's just slightly more complicated. So recall last time that we were talking about triangles, and we have a base, that's a B, and a height, and our area is equal to 1/2 base times height, correct? Sometimes, though, we need to find the base of the height when we know the other two. So we need to go a little bit backwards compared to what we're normally given. So, for example, let's take a look at a problem like this. We know that a triangle, and it has an area of 44 meters squared, and the base equals 8, and the height is unknown. Okay, so in this case, we can use this formula again, because remember, the way we can check is I can only solve if I have one unknown and I know everything else. In this case, I know my area, I know my base, but I don't know my height. And that's going to be just fine. So I can put it in, but I'm going to have to do some algebra instead of just being able to plug it in and get the answer out, which is a little bit different. So let's take our formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height, and let's simplify it and make it look a little bit different so it can be a little bit easier for us to do some manipulating. Okay, instead of writing it like this, I'm going to write it out a little different. I'm just going to, this is 1/2 times base times height. This really means take this whole side and divide it by 2, right? So I can write it as area equals base times height over 2. That's really the same thing, because if I multiply by 1/2, or if I multiply this and then divide by 1/2, or divide by 2, it's the same. Because remember, multiplying and dividing are really the same, just like adding and subtracting. It just depends on how it looks. It's all the same thing. But my goal here is that I want to be able to isolate h. And I'm going to plug this in, and we're going to work on it using some algebra. Okay, my area is equal to 44 equals 8 times h over 2. Okay, well, this isn't super bad, because what I can do here is I have two options. My first option is that I can multiply both sides of the equation by 2 in order to get rid of this 2. Or I can just divide 8 by 2 and call it a day and be done with that. So let's take a look at both ways to solve it. I'll do one this way, and I'll do one this way, because it's good practice for our algebra. All right, if I have my 44 equals 8h over 2, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Remember that this is an implied multiplication if I write a number outside of a parentheses. This side's going to get me 88. And on this side, 2 divided by 2 cancels out. So I have 88 equals 8h. In this case, easy now, one-step algebra. Divide both sides by 8. My 8's cancel out. And I have, what is that, 11 equals h. Let's take a look at the other way that I could have done it. I'm going to write out my 44 equals 8h. In this case, 8h over 2. This time I'm going to simplify first, and I'm going to write 44 equals 8 divided by 2 is 4 for h. Okay, because I can divide any piece, and it's all commutative, because none of this is being added, and it's kind of all, I can do whatever order I'd like. This case, I need to get rid of that 4, because I'm trying to isolate my variable. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. My 4's crossed off. I have 44 divided by 4, which is, unsurprisingly, 11 equals h. The cool thing about algebra is no matter what step you do, as long as you do things in the right steps, you always get the right answer, because you have to plug it back into the original way, and there's only one correct solution for problems like this. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be finding this missing attribute for this whole assignment, whether it's h or b, and it kind of goes like this, and it's pretty similar. I'll do another example if you'd like, but if you want to go get started, you can do that as well. Okay, let me find one that I like. All right. In this case, we have a base of 4 inches, and an area of 6 square inches. Man, I forgot my units up there. Awful at remembering those. Okay, let's use our formula. I'm going to write area equals base times height over 2. I'm going to plug in what I know. 6 equals 4 times h over 2. And I feel like the simplifying first is a little bit easier for me. I'm going to do 6 equals 2h, because 4 divided by 2 is 2, right? And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and that gives me 3 equals h. And in this case, 3 inches. Got it? I'll do one more because they're kind of fun, and, that was fast. Okay. In this case, we have height is 3, and area is 7.5 square inches. Area equals base times height over 2. And let's plug it in. 7.5 equals, that's supposed to be a B, 3 times 7.5 over 2. Wait. 3 times h. Let me write this whole thing over again. 7.5 equals 3 times h over 2. This one doesn't simplify as easy. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. I have 15 equals 3h. Divide both sides by 3, and I have h equals 5 inches. There we go. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please ask me or find another adult. Good luck.